If you're into the self-improvement world, are an aspiring entrepreneur, or own a business, you're probably familiar with the term hustle culture, where more is always more and we want things done better, faster, bigger, and by yesterday. I think it's fair to say that with everything that's going on in the world, most of us are kind of over the grind until you die work culture.
God, please, no! 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 No!
Today, we're going to be looking at another way to remain super focused and super productive without having to leave our souls in the pattern. But first, hi there, my name is Steffi and welcome to the coffee table, a place where we read books, talk about stuff, and if we're lucky, learn something. Should I be talking about the hustle culture? Well, first of all, I think I'm one of the many people here who have been addicted to it at some point in their life. As a freelancer and digital nomad myself, I'm no stranger to entrepreneurship and kind of like the hustling of the work, if you will. In fact, I think for a long time in my life, I was addicted to my work, mostly because it allowed me to keep distracted and suppress some other interesting feelings that I had inside. But what is hustle culture? If you've been into social media for like 16 seconds, you probably come across it. You know, it's a typical rise and grind, do more than everybody else. Is this need to always be on so that you can accomplish more than the person next to you? The hustle culture is popular with phrases such as, you have the same 24 hours as Beyonce, you know? Yeah, but she has like a huge team, right? Okay. And I think like hustling and constant focused work has its place. However, the problem with hustle culture itself is that it glorifies the need to be on work mode 24/7. But biologically speaking, this is not good for us because the way our human body works is that we have a nervous system, and when we're constantly in this hustle mode, beast mode, it activates what is called the sympathetic nervous system, a responsible system for the fight, flight, or freeze response. When this system is constantly activated, it can be very unhealthy for us for many reasons. In fact, if you're more curious to know how it can actually be counterproductive to have a constantly activated sympathetic nervous system, you can feel free to check out the video I will leave over here, the neuroscience of manifestation. But anyway, let's be real. Burning out like a meteor is not very sustainable. The real question is, what is all this grinding accomplishing? Yes, in the short term, we will probably see great results, but what will it get us in the long term? But let's talk Ikigai. Think of Ikigai as the ultimate life hack. Instead of releasing your inner beast mode, you're kind of doing it your inner peace mode. Ikigai is a Japanese word that loosely translates to reason for being. In the book Ikigai, the Japanese secret to a long and happy life, the authors explain this concept further. So let's take a look at it. It is the sweet spot where your passions and skills, what the world needs, and what can you get paid for, all come together. So basically, you want to make sure you know what you're good at, what lights you up inside, what the world needs, and what can you get paid for. And right there in the middle is your purpose of Ikigai. You're not fighting against the world, and you're not grinding and hustling because you're energized at every level. So what we want to do with Ikigai is to make sure that our purpose, that our grinding, if you will, is aligned with what lights us up inside. If you remember a few years ago, I think it was in 2016, I honestly don't remember the exact day, where Marie Kondo's like the life-changing magic of tidying up, I believe is the title of her book, went insanely popular. I love that book. And she even had this show on Netflix. But basically, she is this organizing superstar who has this methodology that whatever doesn't light you up inside, you throw away. So she would go to people's houses and she would be like, okay, hold this object. Let's say you have, I don't know, this object, and then you're supposed to hold it and say, okay, does this object lights me up inside? Do I want to keep it? And if you don't feel like a hell yes, you basically go away, you thank it, thank you for being my life, right? Object. And then you discard it, or you give it away, you donate it, you recycle it, etc. So I think with Ikigai, it's kind of a similar philosophy. You take around and take stock of all the activities, all the things that occupy your time, basically, especially when it comes to work in this case, and ask yourself, does this light me up inside? Is this why I get up in the morning? And then if the answer is yes, good for you. I think you're actually in the right track. If not, you might have to do a little bit of soul searching, because if your answer to I wake up in the morning to grind and hustle, baby boy, that might be not the right answer, because again, you might burn your fuel very fast down the line. Let me tell you a quick story. When I was in my early 20s, I was so into Taekwondo. I love Taekwondo. I breathe and ate Taekwondo. At the same time, I used to live in the Greater Vancouver area. If you're familiar with the Greater Vancouver area, you have your main city of Vancouver and then a bunch of other cities and towns around it. Well, my Taekwondo school was in one city and my work was in another town 2 hours away from my school. And you know what? Twice a week, I would get on that bus after work with my huge Taekwondo equipment. It was like a bag this big. And I would get on the bus and I would just go to my school. And you know what? It was the easiest thing to do. I didn't mind at all, because I love Taekwondo so much that going on a 2 hours bus ride with this huge thing after a whole day of work didn't mean anything to me. It didn't feel like a burden. I was happy to do it. So that's what I mean by Ikigai. It should feel, regardless if it's a very intense activity, right? It should still bring you joy and it should feel peaceful because it aligns to what lights you up inside. So why does purpose beats grinding? Simple. When your actions are driven by your purpose, such as Ikigai, you're just not hustling for the sake of it. Instead, every action is full of meaning, keeping you energized and actually making your work feel good. But don't get me wrong, I actually see the value of focusing and getting your head down and producing high quality work and being productive. The problem with hustle culture, though, is it glorifies this 24/7. We always need to be in work mode and never take a rest, because otherwise, how are we going to beat our competition? On which side are you? Are you more into the Ikigai side, in the hustle culture, a mix of both? What do you think? Feel free to leave your thoughts down below in the comments. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, I also have other videos such as the neuroscience of manifestation and the psychology of money. So that's it for me. Thank you so much again for joining me here at the coffee table for a little bit of a chit chat. If you like this video and find it helpful or entertaining in some way, feel free to give it a like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. And remember, it's not about working harder, it's about working with purpose. Take care.